Hello friends, welcome back to our YouTube channel DS Tech Mirror. Topic for today's video is PnP provisioning in modern SharePoint. In this video, we'll learn the basic concepts of PnP provisioning, and then using PnP framework, we will see how we can create site template from existing SharePoint site using PnP PowerShell. Or in other words, we will learn how we can automate site provisioning in modern SharePoint using PnP provisioning. So let's get started. I'll start with the introduction of the PnP provisioning. What is PnP provisioning? PnP provisioning is used to automate site provisioning in SharePoint Online. It's a method in which what we can do, we can create a site manually. What we can do, we can create all the site columns, content type, we can create our home page, we can deploy all the SPFX component we want to deploy on that particular site. It's like we can manually create one site which we want to use as a template for other sites, and then using PnP PowerShell we can export the PnP template of that particular site, which later can be reused to apply to target sites. So this is the overall idea of the PnP provisioning engine. In other words, for every site we have PnP template. If you have SharePoint site, we can download its PnP template. How our PnP template will look like, that I will show you after some time. As we will proceed with other slides, I will show you how a PnP template will look like, what all other things we can automate or we can provision using PnP provisioning. Because in my last video we saw how we can do site provisioning using site designs and site scripts, but there were certain limitations with that site design and site script. One such limitation was that using site design and site script, what it will do, it can deploy the SPFX component in our site, but it is not going to add it to the pages. For example, let's say I have one SPFX web part added to my home page. Now, if I'm doing site provisioning using site design and site script, so what it will do, it will install that SPFX web part in my site, but it will not add that web part on my home page. But if I do site provisioning using PnP provisioning, then that limitations will overcome. We will overcome almost all the limitations which we have in site design and site script. Another important point is site designs and site script are only available for SharePoint Online, whereas this PnP provisioning engine is available for both SharePoint Online and SharePoint on-premise. Coming back to the second point, PnP provisioning can be used to move artifacts from test to staging to production environment, because this is a very common scenario where we'll do all our development on where we'll try whenever we get any requirement from the client, we start from the development environment. Now, how we can take our sites or how we can take our changes from the development to the staging, and from staging to the production environment, the best and the, you can say, easiest approach is the PnP provisioning. Now, just now I said like every site we can has PnP template and we can export it. So by now you must have understood that we have some PnP templates for SharePoint sites, but in PnP we have another template called tenant template. So tenant template will be out of scope for this video, but I'll just give you the basic definition that tenant template has the ability to provision artifacts beyond SharePoint sites, because as the word is saying, tenant template, if you want to perform any provisioning or perform any action using PnP that is outside the scope of SharePoint, for example MS Team, Power Apps, MS Flow, for that you have to use tenant templates of PnP provisioning engine. But in today's video I will cover only site template of the PnP provisioning engine. So that was the basic introduction. Now next question would be how you can export the PnP template. So there are certain PowerShell, and these are PnP PowerShell, that we will run this PnP PowerShell in SharePoint Online Management Shell first of all, and using this PnP PowerShell we are going to export the PnP template. Another thing is we can also use CSOM, that is a CSOM model, client-side object model, using C# we can export the PnP template. We can apply the PnP template by creating simple console application, but that I will cover in my next video. In today's video, we will see how we can perform the entire provisioning approach, entire provisioning method using PowerShell. So these are the below commands. So what I'll do, instead of taking you through the slides, along with the slides, I'll start with the demo also. So let me go to my browser. So you can see I have one source site with me. Now what I will do, I'm going to export the PnP template of this particular site, and I will apply that PnP template on this destination site. So this is one destination site. This is a blank site. This is a blank team site without Office 365 without Office 365 group, and this is one source site, modern team site without Office 365 groups. So in this you can see we have application customizer at the top, that is header and footer. In my home page I have one SPFX web part. I have few out of the box web parts. Now if I come under site contents, over here I can see I have site assets library. I have other custom lists as well, database list, first FC, list formatting, all these are custom list. These are my SPFX component which is installed in my site, and few are added on my home page and few are added across the site, like application customizer. It is available on all the pages. My SPFX web part is added on home page. Apart from that, if I go to site settings and if I go to site content types, so I have some custom content types, test city, you can see that, and I have another content type over here. It is also a custom content type, finance. So in this site I have some custom content types. I have my home page, I have SPFX component, I have SharePoint groups. So all these are already present. So now what I will do, I will export the PnP of this particular site using PnP PowerShell. So now to begin with, there are certain points over here I mentioned. So in my system, PnP SharePoint PnP framework is already installed. So what I'll say, to explain you, first of all, what you should do, because this PnP is an open source, so it's keep getting evolved. The earlier version will keep getting deprecated, the new version will keep getting introduced, and they will be change in the commands. So right now you could see this one command over here, get PnP site templates. Earlier it was a different command, it was like get PnP provisioning template, like that. So if you want to run these commands which I am showing on my PPT, and these are the latest one, these are the recommended one which you should use. So you have to perform some prerequisite for that. Now if you are running this PnP PowerShell for the first time in your system, what you can do, whether you have already installed it or you have not used it, I would say run this first command, uninstall module name SharePoint PnP PowerShell online. So all versions force, if any of the PnP PowerShell version is installed in your system, it would get uninstalled. In my system, so I have already done that, so I cannot run this command again. Now then I would say run install module name PnP.PowerShell. So what this PnP community have done, earlier there was PnP core. For that we have to use SharePoint PnP PowerShell online. Now they have deprecated that, they have archived that, so and they have introduced a new PnP library called PnP framework. Now to use PnP framework and its commands, what we have to do, we have to install module PnP.PowerShell. So you install that, and after that you have to run this command, register PnP management shell access. So it will get registered in your tenant. So it will ask your consent on few steps. Just do that, and after that your system would be ready to use PnP online PowerShell commands, and then after that you can start working with the PnP PowerShell. And for that we would be using SharePoint online management shell. Let me mention it over here, SharePoint online management shell, if you are working with the SharePoint online. Now so what I will do, the first step or the first command is connect PnP online. Since I have to export the PnP template of the source site, So first of all I have to connect to the source, because the command, the actual command for exporting the template is get PnP site template. If I'll directly start exporting the template, it would give me an error because the authentication is not established between my management shell and the my site. So let's start with the let's first establish the connection. So I'll say connect PnP online, and over here, as I mentioned, site URL, not admin center. We have to give the site URL. If you give the admin center URL, then it will start exporting the PnP of that particular admin center. So let's start. This is SharePoint Online Management Shell. I'll say connect PnP online, and then I'll copy the site name, and then I'll press enter. Now it is asking me for the credentials. I will provide the credentials, then the password, and now you can see the connection is established. Now I can run my command to export the template, and the command to export the template is get PnP site template -out PnP provisioning file.xml. So I will explain you what it is. This is my command, that is get PnP site template, and get PnP site template, and -out parameter will say that it will export the PnP file with this particular name and at this location in which your management shell is running. So the moment I paste this command, you can see extracting template for this particular site. So extraction process already begun, and I can found my template, that is PnP this .xml file at this particular location. So if you want to generate your template at any other location, you can provide the full path in this out parameter, or you can run your management shell from that particular directory. Another important point is PnP site template comes with two extensions. You can run this .xml, or you can also use .pnp. So both are supported, and over here you can see PnP template can be saved as .xml or PnP. The only difference is if you will extract using .xml, if you will run this PnP template as .xml, so what it will do, because we have to include the branding features as well. Now there would be site logo, and there could be other assets also. For that, it will download all the files, and it will create a folder called site assets. Inside that, it will download everything. Now if you will save it as .pnp, so inside that PnP package, it will download everything. It will not create a separate folder. For that, what you can do, you can rename .pnp, and you can see it as .zip. And then if you will double click on .zip, you could see all the assets inside that. So I'll show you in a moment. But before that, over here you can see our template got downloaded. Let me go back, and this is my PnP template, PnP provisioning file.xml, and let me open it in a notepad. So this is how my PnP XML file or PnP template of a site will look like. Over here you can see PnP provisioning. This is the schema URL, template, PnP provisioning template, name, version number, basic site template. This means team site. This is a root site. Then there are certain handlers with that. One is the web settings. Inside web settings, it will store all the information: request access URL, no crawl, welcome page, site logo, and everything. It got all the information got stored. Over here you can see site logo is blank, so it is not gonna export the site logo to the destination, or you can say it has not exported the site logo. Why it has not done, we'll see. Site settings, all the security, it means all the groups, their members, navigation, my global navigation, my site fields, my content types. So I show you certain content types. That is one of the example is finance, test city. All the custom content type it already exported. All my list got exported. Their views, all the site columns, list columns, then their views, everything over here we can see. Fields, if any inheritance is break, that is also that information also got exported. So this is very, very powerful as compared to site design and site script. It is much more powerful. All the fields, and you can see it's a very big, it's a huge template. that got exported. Content type bindings are there, views are there, property bag entries, my choice fields, and if I scroll down over here, you can see my choice column, my application custom actions are also got exported, the features. So everything got exported over here. Now important point, over here you can see there is no information about the site logo. So by default it will not include the branding information. For that we have to provide one parameter explicitly, then only it will export that. So let me mention that point over slide also, or I'll show you first. First of all, let's go to the source site. This is our source site, and let's change the logo. What I will do, change the look. I have to change the theme also. I'll use this dark theme, dark yellow. This is fine. Then I have to change the logo, site information, change. I'll use this site logo, ds_techmirror, and save. So over here you can see I have the site logo and site theme also. Now what I will do, I'll go back to my PowerShell and let me include one more parameter. I'll say persist, and I'll press tab. You can see persist branding files. So I have to explicitly mention this parameter. Another point is, if in your site there are multiple pages under site pages, so by default it will not include all the site pages. If you want to include all the pages, you have to include another parameter, will say include. So you can see site collection, site groups, term group, all these are explicit settings which you have to mention over here. Include all pages and persist branding files. In my site there are no pages, but let me mention these two important points and let me add that in the slides. To include branding and all pages, by default these are not exported, and I have mentioned both the parameters over here. So this is fine. Now I have my you can say I have my logo and site theme I have applied. Let's do one thing. I am in the directory, and let me delete this XML just to avoid any confusion. Now I'll run this again. This time I'll press enter, and now you can see it is it is processing with each handler. Initially it started with web settings, audit settings, and now it is extracting fields, and after fields it will export other features. Over here you can see it is processing. Now content type extraction begin, list instances. So this is one database list which I have. So all the features of the site can get exported. Now in any scenario, if any of the feature got missed out, so manually you can add that in your exported PnP, and then you can use that to apply it to the sites or reuse it. Now it is processing with site pages, SPFX assets, SPFX custom form. These are the list. All these are list in my source site. So I'll wait for the extraction to finish. Now it is exporting all the client side pages because explicitly I have mentioned over here. So this is done. Now my template is ready. Let's go, and I'll try to, okay, it is already open in my notepad and it will ask me to reload, and it's fine. Now first thing I want to show you over here is the site logo. Now my site logo is not blank. Over here you can see I have the information about my site logo, and where it is downloaded, in the same directory it created a folder called site assets, and inside this I have this site logo which it will use to apply to the sites. So this is one feature. Now another very important thing, by default site theme it is not extracting. Actually I tried everything from my end, but I didn't find any reason why it is not exporting the site theme. So manually I will include the site theme. Over here also I will mention include site theme manually, and what is the command for that I will mention it over here. So I am over here. So just above this web settings, what you can do, you can say PnP and then theme, and over here you have to mention the name, and another parameter is inverted, and another parameter is inverted. So let me copy paste that line over here. This is my line. So PnP theme name is dark yellow, is inverted is false. So, and I will paste the same command in my PPT also over here, because it is very important to document everything. It would help you. and let me just reduce my font size just to include everything. Yes, fine. So guys, this is about my export PnP template. So my exported PnP template is now ready. I will save it. Now this template is ready. Now I have to see how I can apply the PnP template. So again, applying PnP template is very simple. Just connect with your PnP site, or just connect with your site using connect PnP online, and then use command invoke PnP tenant template. And over here this command is wrong from my end. It is invoke PnP site template, and the path you have to mention where your template is stored. So let's start applying the PnP template. Before that, one point again I want to highlight is make sure that PnP PowerShell is installed in your system. This module is installed and not SharePoint PnP PowerShell online. Otherwise these commands would not match, because in PnP core this command was apply PnP provisioning template. So it got completely changed and PnP core got archived. PnP community is not going to update that library now, so it is recommended to use PnP framework, that is PnP PowerShell module. So I just want to highlight that point again because it is very important. So now I'll go back to SharePoint Online Management Shell. I'll connect my site PnP Online and I'll mention the URL over here. This is my destination site. You can see this is a complete blank site. There are no custom list in this site, only 3-4 list. Our homepage is totally different, logo is different, no site theme, nothing. So I'll connect to this particular site first and I'll press enter. Now I will enter my credentials. So now I'm connected to my destination site. Let me apply the template now which we have exported using invoke PnP site template. So this is my command, invoke PnP site template -path. So I'm already in the same directory in which my template is stored. So I will simply change the name over here. This is my directory and this is the name of my file. So I'll copy from here. I will paste it over here and I will run the command as it is, invoke. And now over here I'm getting one error. Okay, because there's a difference over here. In path I have this leading space. So now there are one more space at the end. So just make sure there should be no space in your path. So let's see whether this error is in my command or it is present in my template. So it is saying at line 1 character, line 6 position 13. So let me try to open it again. Line 6, this is the same line which I have included. So there would be some error over here only. So let me quickly see. And what is the error? Character hexadecimal cannot be included in a name. Okay, so let me see what is the error. So this time I have typed the line manually and let's see whether it will work, because I don't see any error over here and now it's working. So why it's giving you an error? What I can understand, because while copy pasting maybe internally some encoding of character, there could be some issue of like that, because it's the same code or is the same XML. You can see it, just I have typed manually. So again this is not something documented anywhere. It's just based on my experience. I'll say type manually in XML. So just based on my experience I'll say type manually, because I face this issue, and while site designs also I face this issue when we copy paste. So it would be good if you're adding something, just type manually. And let's go back to management shell and our template, its application setting up of the template on the target site. It is in progress. Over here you can see list instances learning, it is in progress. So let's do one thing. Let's go to the target site. Let's refresh it and see whether we can see any changes. Not yet, but we can see list formation is in progress. List creation is done. So if I go over here, I can see list instances SPFX it is creating, and all other lists which it already created, I can see this list over here. So as I said, it created this list called SPFX. I can see this because it was present at the source. It created again. I can see this learning list. It got created. All these lists were present at the source, and my PnP template or my PnP PowerShell, it applied it in the destination also. Another important point is it will only export your schema of the list. It will not export the list item, because as per PnP community, they are not working to prepare a migration tool. They are just focus on creating the schema of the site. So you will not get the items. So over here you can see all the items are 0. In fact, in my source also there were no items, but PnP is not going to export and import your items. It will just export and import of the list schema and other handlers of the site which is supported. I will share the total. I think there are total 30 handlers which are supported by PnP provisioning, and I will in my other slides, in my coming slides, I will share that list with you. But before that, let's wait for this process to get completed. That is the importing of all the PnP template into the target site. So go back to management shell. It is still in progress. I can see it is creating list column for list database. I'm in this list called database, and it's creating other columns. If I'll go to list settings, now it moved to another field. It moved to content type, so I could see all the columns, because these many columns are present in my source also. Earlier this list was also not present. So as soon as the changes got applied, immediately we can see it in the target, that is in the destination, and in our case the URL is the destination site. Okay, now come back. For now we have to wait for this process to get complete, and then only we'll proceed. Since it is taking more time, so what I'm doing, I'm just pausing the video, and the moment it will get complete, so I'll resume from here, and then we'll see other information about this PnP provisioning, and also we'll see how our target site is looking, whether it apply the site theme, whether it apply the site logo. So for now I'll pause my video. So over here that process is completed. My applying PnP site template on the target site is completed. Over here you could see one error: access denied. You do not have permission to perform this action or access this resource. This is because of this warning: list instance style library of a site with no script enabled and will be skipped. So you can also ignore this error if you will encounter this error, and if you want to overcome this error, it just you have to enable no script on the style library with the help of a command that I will share with you. So for now we can ignore this, and let's go to the target site. So this is my target site. Let me refresh it and see whether the changes are applied. And what I can see, my site logo got applied. I can see all my application customizer. I can see this, my homepage is ready. It added all the web parts over here. It created all the sites. I'll go into the site contents. Inside site contents, I can see all my list formatting everywhere. Now if I'll go to content types, if I go to site content type, you can see custom content type. There was one more content type called finance, that is also created over here. So I can see all the information that was present at the source got applied at the destination. The only thing which is left is my theme. I can see the theme did not apply over here. So let's see what is the reason for that, and then we'll try. So for that, let's go to my this PnP template, and I can see over here everything is fine over here. Dark yellow was the theme, and the same was applied on the source also. Let me see over here. If I'll go over here and let's say change the look theme, so dark yellow is present, but it did not apply. So right now what I can do, if I want to run if any of the settings got missed, and if you want to run this XML again, so what I will do, for now I will just run this PnP theme code, and I will remove the other settings. So over here what I will do, let me go over here and I'll say from till here I'll remove everything, and what I have PnP provisioning template, and inside this I have my theme tag over here, PnP theme name dark yellow, and I'll try to run this again. So I'll say invoke, because I'm already connected to this target site, so I need not to reconnect to the site again. The connection will persist until unless I close this SharePoint online management cell. So let me run again, and this time it will not take much time because it's just the theme. So it got completed, and let's see, and this time it got applied. I'm also not sure why it did not get applied at the first place. It should, but in case if you face the same issue, what you can do, you can run that piece separately or otherwise we will see, you can see also see at your end, it should run, and it will run when you will run the entire code again. So it will run. So for now, let's move forward. So over here you saw like my entire site got replicated. So this is how you can provision your site. What you can do, you can extract your PnP template, you can keep it in one site directory, in one folder. You have to just these two lines, connect PnP online and invoke PnP site template. You have to just run this PowerShell and you can provision your sites automatically. Other thing, in my next video, what I will do, I will show you how we can do the same process using console application. And if you want to, overcome this manual step, then we can run, we can schedule that console application using task scheduler. That is also we can do. So this is how we can automate this process as well. Now coming back to the PPT. So our demo is over. Now I'll cover the other important aspects of the PnP template. Now I have export selective artifacts, which I just showed you. Now if I don't want to export all the artifacts of the site, if I want to export certain artifacts, let's say I just want the PnP of one particular list, I want PnP of just one content type, how I can do that? For that, what I have to do, I have to give one parameter called configuration, and then I have to give one JSON file called config.json. In that JSON file, I will mention what all artifacts I want to export, and then I can export that selective artifact. So let's see how that JSON file will look like. So this is how my JSON file will look like. So these are the parameters which will remain constant. Only these things will change. Now what are these handlers? In handlers, I am saying I just want list. And inside list, I'm mentioning I want list with title YouTube content. If I want multiple list, there will be comma separated multiple list, and I can download them. And I was saying I will supply the entire list of the handlers. So this is the handler supported by PnP framework. Again, not SharePoint online or not PnP core, but by PnP framework. So what all is exported and imported using this PnP provisioning audit settings? Composed look, your branding, which we saw, custom actions we saw, features we saw, extensibility providers, fields, file, list, pages, UI languages, publishing, regional settings, search settings, site policy, taxonomy, workflows, site security, content type, almost everything. Property bag, web settings, navigation, image retentions, tenant, web API, site header, footer, theme, site setting. So almost it is covering everything. So it is really very powerful. Coming back to the demo. So demo we have already saw. Just I'll show you one thing, how we can export the selective artifacts. For what I'll do, I'll simply use this schema. So I'll copy it. I'll go to the directory. This is my directory. I'll go to video. This is my directory. Over here I'll say new file. I'll say config.json and I'll save it. Now you must be wondering how you will include the other handlers. So what I will do, PnP team has provided the entire schema how you can create this config file. I will share that link with you. It is present in the PPT and is also present in the description box below. So you can go from there, and with the help of that you can create this schema. I did that only. So first let's see how we can use this config file. So now config file is ready with me. This is my config file. I'll go to my PPT file. What I will do, I will again connect to the source site. Or what we can do, since we want to export just one list, instead of reconnecting again to the source, I'll use the destination site itself and I'll export this list. So because YouTube content is available in my destination also, so let's see. So this is my destination and I can see this list is present. So let me run this PowerShell, or PnP PowerShell I should say. So this is my command, get PnP site template, configuration config.json, and out is only list template.xml. So I'm in my management shell. I'm running CLS just to clear the screen and enter. So now, over here right now it is not working. So over here I can see it is exporting everything. I can see fields, everything. So what I'll do, I'll say Control C and I'll stop this process, and let's see what is the error. First of all, we'll fix the error and then we'll proceed. So friends, this is my config.json file, and why we are getting this error, because there's one space at the bottom. So we have to take care of such things in the configuration file and in my PnP template as well. So I'll show you. It is still giving me an error. So if I run this command again, so command is same, get PnP site template. I provided the configuration file. We are in the same directory, and out is the name of my template file which it will generate. So if I'll run again, so you can see it is not considering this configuration file and it starts exporting everything. So I'll press Ctrl C just to stop this process. Now I'll remove the space, Ctrl S. This is my same config file. I'll close my notepad and I'll run again. And let's wait. And over here, okay, it is still giving me an error. Let me go back to my config file again. This is my config file, and there could be some other space. Let me remove any spaces. These are my lists. I save and let me try to run it again. And over here you can see it is generating list instance and only YouTube content. So now it is not exporting each and everything. So just be careful. They should, and you can also observe that it got finished very quickly because it has to export only one list. So important point is make sure there are no extra spaces in your config.json file, because otherwise it will give you unnecessary trouble. Now let's go back to my folder, and this is my template, only list template.xml, and you can see the difference. It's a small file. It has no information about web settings, about content type. It has only information about list instance, that is only YouTube content type binding for this particular list, views information about this list fields, and that's it. It has one choice column. That what I'll do, let me quickly show you just to give you make sure that it exported the correct file. This is the some issue with my application customizer which is troubling me, so I will avoid it for now because that would be the outside of the scope. So let's go to list settings, and I have to show you choice column. So over here you can see status is my choice column, and if I come over here, field display name status. So this is done. So it is generating correctly. Another thing, how you are going to prepare this config file. So I have shared the URL with you over here in one of the slide, I think in configuration file. This is the configuration file schema. We'll use that. It is already open with me. I will quickly explain it. So over here you can see this is the complete schema. They have tried to explain each and everything. So if you want to include asset file, you have to use this particular property, and its description they have given type, multi-language, publishing. If you come down, some tenant, if you want some tenant properties, if you want to export, if you are working with teams, pages. So the entire information is provided here. List of all the handlers is provided at the bottom, and search settings, site footer. So now let's say if you want to include only site footer, so just do one thing, go at the top, include this basic information about this schema, then mention the title, mention the version number, description, and then after that start with the site footer. Just type this site footer, and you can say type is object. So we'll start with curly braces. Additional properties, say false. Properties are remove existing nodes. So description, so inside site footer will mention remove existing node, and I will provide the value true or false. This is how it's gonna work. Like navigation and type is object, properties are remove existing nodes. It's the same for the navigation also. And if I'll come under search settings, so I'll say search settings, description, it is saying like it will define your search settings, type is object only, and properties are include. So I'll say search settings, and inside that I'll type include, call it true. Now to explain it better, I'll search list, and you can see the description of the list is given over here, and how I prepared my schema using this description. So this is my description for the list. What I did, schema, title, version, description. That's it. Now I'll share the handlers. So handler, what I want only list. If I want something extra, I will mention it over here. Then I came under list, I type list. Inside that it is saying list settings, fine, object, I started with the braces, and additional properties fall, include hidden list, I don't want to do. Another property I saw list, I started with another property. It said description, it said type is array. I created an array over here, and inside its properties I can see it is saying title, and then include items, then key column. So I said I don't want anything, I want only title. So guys, this is how I created this config file. So now I've shared the link of the configuration schema with you. So with the help of that schema and this sample file, you can create your own configuration file, and you can export the limited artifacts if you want. Let's go back to the PPT. So this is my configuration files. Handlers are I already covered, and demos also already covered. So with this, we reach to an end of this video. If you like this video, please like and share the video and subscribe to the channel to get notification for our upcoming videos. I have created a group over Facebook called Modern SharePoint. Link is in the description box below. If you want, you can join that group. You can also follow me on Twitter. This is my Twitter handle to get all the updates from the Office 365 world. Till our next video, much love, keep learning. Thank you.